You're listening to the AID Network.
Well, friends, we find ourselves at our final Brickey's Guide to Breaking into Hollywood. I am Mark Brickey. Thank you so much. If you listen to all of these, I hope that you were able to find something inspiring from them. I wanted to go through the archive of over 800 episodes, grab 10 that would make a good roadmap of how you go from enjoying content in the entertainment industry and finding a way to look at you and figure out what unique part of you could you take into this, I think, exciting industry to be a part of. And with the power of creativity that we have these days through our computers and through the internet and social media, there's no excuse not to chase down that dream. There used to be a solid excuse of, well, I live here to move out to LA or to move to New York City to risk it all. It's too big of a gamble. But now all you need are a couple of free nights a week or a free day on the weekend and take your dream and ambition and pour it into whatever you want to do. So I wanted to take 10 episodes and give you a nice roadmap on how to get there. Today's episode kind of is a great way to finish it, I think. It goes back to AID 784 earlier this year when me and my friend Carl went out to VidCon. Her and I went to VidCon as baby YouTube creators. She has a job working full-time for Fox Sports West, covering hockey and the Angels, Southern California sports. But Carl's a professional broadcaster. I'm a professional podcaster. We wanted to go to VidCon and dig deeper in the world of YouTube, which, as yesterday's episode showed, I really have a lot of faith in where YouTube is going and the way that it empowers young creators. So we wanted to go there and sort of soak in and see, where is this world going? And is there room for us? Do we feel that there's room to grow? Is it over? Is it just beginning? And we really found a lot of inspiring data. And in today's episode, what I'm actually going to give you is a large portion of that episode's Circle of Trust. Now, that's normally only the content that's available for subscribers. You can sign up today at aidpodcast.com. You get the full archive of over 800 episodes. And each day, Monday through Friday, you get a full episode where you get all of the content. And part of what I do by being able to monetize my podcast is I go out and attend events like this, and then I bring that data back to my subscribers. So investing in me, investing in the show, they always get a return, whether it's a workshop week, an interview, or just the companionship. But on events like this, we like to go there and bring the data back. So what you'll learn in today's show about VidCon, which is the annual YouTuber conference, what pass you should buy, should you travel out to California for it, how long in your creative career should you be? If you're a creator, if you're just starting, if you're wanting to start, where should you be in your YouTube lifespan to be able to justify the expense and the trip? And we literally break down who we believe the future of entertainment and YouTube belongs to. It was an inspiring couple of days. We hit record right after we finished our last day, and we captured it all for you. So today, as a treat, you get to hear the Circle of Trust, the content that was only available for paid members of AIDpodcast.com. The listeners of this show aren't the only ones that make it happen. My friends over at Jack Prince do. And one of the things that many of the YouTubers have gotten into is creating their own merchandise lines. And you can do this with my friends over at jackprince.com. You can go to jackprince.com/Circle of Trust and do it even cheaper and save money. They do on-demand printing. They do store management. So if you just wanted to extend your brand and make some merchandise, they can kind of handle it all for you, or they'll ship it out to you for free. You'd never pay for shipping in these United States. Well, unless you do overnight. Yeah, then you're getting kind of crazy. So don't take a good thing for granted. All right, what you're going to hear today, the episode starts right in on us critiquing the Casey Neistat keynote speech that we heard. We're big fans of Casey. We were really inspired. And he broke down a lot of things that we've thought before and reminded us of things that we've both done to be professional broadcasters. He reminded us that timing is important, but what's more important than that is building your brand off of your personality and how you've got to have the power of empathy. earlier the day before, I was telling you that I spent the whole day trying to figure out audience.
Yeah.
Audience is influence.
Yeah.
So I was literally working out this problem a day before.
You were.
It's so wild. And I mean, I thought that was a very important part for him to talk about. And then also what we also said, that there is an audience for everyone.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who's been able to capture almost everyone.
He's just a lucky bastard.
He really is. And you've got the vibe that wasn't lost on him. And he was able to sort of break apart his luck into little buckets and just be like, look, I somehow got all of these things.
Yep.
If you can get one or two of these things, you'll be set.
Yeah.
And you and I are people that have got one or two of those things.
I love that he almost, I wouldn't even say he taught us that, but he reminded us that
100%.
It's about the person on the other side that's watching, that's listening, that's interacting. It's not about how many or who. It's literally just about the relationship and the influence. So I can't even say anything. It's like nailed it.
We left after that.
We left feeling great, and we were so done with VidCon because we got everything we needed. Like it was just that good. And we had reservations before going into this too. Like you said, it wasn't lost on him that he knows he's lucky and he knows his influence and how massive he is and all that. And before we went in there, we were very nervous that we were going to hear him speak as a human outside of the vlog and outside of the YouTube channel and possibly look at him differently.
Yeah.
He could have been cocky in a way where it turned us off. It could have been, he could have been unintelligent. Like we only see him in these little snippets, and when he goes on a rant and it's all edited, he can cut out things that don't make sense. But to see how intelligent he was.
We got to look into his eyes and not see a ring light.
Oh yeah, or his sunglasses or the Ray-Bans.
He had them on his head the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. But I loved how real he was, and you're right, how he acknowledged, and it was not lost on him, that it was a little bit of luck. A lot of bit of luck, actually.
And, just to hear a guy like that, who's a very, very bright guy, who's beaten the odds. I mean, he's a high school dropout. Mm-hmm. Just a very, very true, like, American story. Like the whole, like, in this country, you can start with nothing and get everything. Drops out of high school, gets a girl pregnant at 17, has to figure out all of that, and then ends up on that stage with that much data in his brain and that much success and all the stats and numbers that make him who he is. And either he's a very, very great actor or he's completely genuine, because in that hour that we spent with him in a room with 800, 900 other people, it was the same guy that we've seen in 30-second snippets. Mm-hmm. And he had no luck from the moderator. He just kind of took it over on his own and did his thing. But still was very polite to her.
Yeah.
And kind of helped her out more than what he should have. He was a very good team player.
Which spoke a lot about his character, too.
100%. That empathy that he's conveyed to all of us. He had empathy for her. He carried her on his back.
Yeah.
And gave us all what we needed. And this gets to the ending point of today's free show. Is I think the number one thing I've learned about myself. I think I recognize this in you when I was trying to get you to do more. And what I've enjoyed from him, you're never going to be good at social media, making content, unless you can truly have empathy for the other person on the other side of the product.
100% agree with that.
Like the Logan Paul thing is funny, but nobody likes that guy. Everybody talked out of the side of their mouth, but Casey was treated as a god this weekend, and it is because you have to really care about the people that you're trying to talk to, because if not, the whole thing is for nothing.
I don't even think empathy defines your success, because you said Logan Paul, like people talked about him, he's considered successful, but I think empathy defines how you're perceived. And then like I think Casey, like you said, people treated him like a god. That's it right there. His empathy has defined how he's perceived, and it's unbelievable.
That, I think, is the number one trait or quality. And whenever you're writing or creating a piece, if it doesn't have that touch point, you're just wasting your time.
Yep.
All right, friends, we just wrapped up the bird's eye view of VidCon. Right now, for members of the Circle of Trust, we're going to talk about, was it worth it? Obviously, it was worth it for Carl and I, but I've broke down who it's worth it for. So if you're thinking about going, but you're unsure because you're not a full-time content creator or you don't happen to work for one of the 4 major networks in America, we're going to break down who we think that it's for, who should be willing to spend the money. If you go there, what your objective should be, what you're going to get out of it, and kind of give you a look at how it really inspired us, how we're different from spending the last 3 days doing that. Hopefully all of that will give you a better idea. Should you rip out the credit card for 2019? And I'll give you a heads up. If you do it much earlier than we did, it's a lot cheaper. And we didn't do the cheaper thing.
No, we didn't.
We went in late and we went in expensive.
Come party with us, the Circle of Trust. It's going to be so much fun.
All right, let's get into the Circle of Trust right now for members only. Sign up today over at aidpodcast.com. Support the show. Make sure that we're here every day to give you this type of wild entertainment that's fun and informative. Let's get into the COT, Carl.
The cot.
Now what we want to do is break down, was it worth it? I mean, you guys can tell that we had a good time and that we enjoyed it.
I'm in the Circle of Trust. Wait, I'm excited. We're in the Circle of Trust now.
That's right.
Hey, guys. It's me, Carl.
Here's where my influence is.
This is kind of exciting.
Well, welcome, Carl.
Thanks.
Back to the Circle of Trust.
Hi.
Okay, so really I want to break down, was it worth it?
Okay.
But in a way, would it be worth it to the guy or gal at home?
All right.
Really that value. It was worth it to us because we're already professionals. We're already here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a big struggle for you and I to like get our schedules together and hang out for a couple of days. It was like what we normally do with just less McDonald's around us. So here's how you could determine, would it be worth it to you? We got the Creator Pass, $250. I would tell you right now that if you were going to come, you would only need the Creator Pass. If you do the Community Pass, you will leave not fulfilled. You will feel like you didn't learn what you need to make, or you will feel like you didn't learn what you needed to get out of it. And I think that the Industry Pass, which was like $800 or $900, mm-hmm. I think that thing is not worth that rate. In fact, there was no industry stuff on Saturday. Mm-hmm. There was only industry things on Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days. There was no industry entertainment or programming, I should say, on the Saturday.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there was nothing I looked at it today to see what industry people got that we didn't. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't. And we saw a ton of industry people in all of our tracks that we took.
We did.
So therefore, I think that you can just skip right past that.
Yeah.
And I think that the Creator Pass is where you need to go. I would say this to you, though. I don't know that this is something that I could tell you to fly to buy a hotel for, and to live out on the road for 3 or 4 days.
Yes. I couldn't. If someone from New York was like, I kind of like making video, I want to see what this is all about, I would not suggest that.
Yeah.
I would not fly out for this myself if I did not live here.
No, I wouldn't. If they did a New York one, we'll see. It's different because, fuck. If it was in New York, maybe I'd go out because I could also do interviews. But if I'm just a guy on the street, guy is non-gender for me. If I'm just a person out on the street mm-hmm. and not a hooker, what I would do is, if I could get a free way to get there, I would do it. But I don't think that once you add in the $250, say $500 for airfare, this is not a cheap place to stay in hotels. Mm-mm. I don't think that I would suggest putting $1,000 into it. Mm-mm. But if you can stay with grandma who lives in Orange County and go on that price point, then maybe it is worth it.
I agree.
I would also say that who this is for is someone who is already actively making videos, mm-hmm. already making content.
This isn't a how-to on how to make your YouTube video and upload it to the internet.
No, because I think that so many of the things that resonated with you and I are problems that we're facing as creators. Mm-hmm. If you haven't hit the upload button, I would stay away from this until you have. Figure out 5 things that you're really confused on. Figure out what your channel's doing wrong.
Yeah.
Then go and find classes that are going to teach you how to do those things. Like for me, 100%, the thumbnail optimization.
Yeah.
That was worth $250.
Yeah, it was.
Like right out of the gate.
We got thumbnail science.
100%. And a good stand-up comedy show all at once.
God, I love him. You got to send him the Circle of Trust so he can hear it.
100%.
He doesn't do that, by the way. You have to pay for it.
That's right.
So don't ask for that.
He's iced out.
Yeah.
So I would say that this is definitely something that is for someone who is already active in the space, or somebody who has a business. Like, if your job will pay for it, then all of this goes out the window if you're on somebody else's dime. Mm-hmm. I think that it is really for somebody who is looking to improve their game, looking to get better. So therefore, you need to have a list of a dozen things that you're trying to overcome.
I agree. You need to know what it is that you're trying to tackle, what's not working for you, and then that's how we kind of planned our schedule, where we looked at everything that was available and knew, okay, I know nothing about Twitch. I need to figure some stuff out before I hit live. Like, let's go to this one. And you knew, I got some stuff to do with my thumbnail. It's horrible right now. I got to figure this out. So we went to that one. So you just have your list and it'll make everything easier.
And when we talk about Twitch, here's a little pro tip for COT members.
COD? Circle
COT.
Oh, trust. Circle of trust.
You got it. There was a guy on the Twitch panel.
Yep.
And actually, our buddy Matt and Ryan, I will be reaching out to all of these people to see if they would like to do an interview or come on the show. Mm-hmm. But when you go to something like this, you walk up to somebody and you go, that was great. And then you turn around and you walk away. You don't bastardize their time. You don't become a punisher and start asking them questions. And you definitely don't try to hit them up for a favor right then and right there. Mm-hmm. I felt like a couple of those dudes, I feel like Matt kind of wanted to hang and talk a little bit. But I'm just like, it was nice to meet you. Boom, out.
Yep.
Because when I follow up with him, I can be like, I tweeted about you. I came up and said, hey, here's also 3 minutes of me gushing about you on my podcast.
We love you, Matt.
We should hang out and do an episode together.
Yeah.
I can get Little Monster in front of other people that are maybe wanting to use your services or know who you are.
Yeah.
You do your business afterwards. You don't bother people there because you're going to get lost in the sea. You're going to talk their ear off. And you're just not going to be your best version of yourself because there's just going to be people behind you that are trying to get a moment of their time.
It's definitely not the place for networking. It's a place to say hello, good job, swap a card if you even go that far, and carry on and not give your elevator pitch. There's no time for the elevator pitch. The turnaround with each of those rooms was so tight. There's 10 minutes in between sessions if they're all on time, and some of them weren't. So no space for elevator pitches. Networking with creators was available, but they didn't really string me with that or hook me,
Yeah, and I think a fault of us going together is we kept to one another. We kind of hung out and did it and like, oh, what about this? What about that? And, I know you and your personality and I know me. If we went there independently,
we could have networked, but
we would have made some buds. Yeah. But I just wanted to get the data.
We made friends with a 7-year-old.
We did.
Arthur.
What a wild child.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we didn't talk about him on the first half. He was nuts.
He was nuts. He could pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But this kid, if all of us had a little bit of his naive ambition, we would be in a better spot because when there was the 1,000 people lined up to see Casey, he literally walked down the line, introduced himself to everybody, asked them what their channel was, what they did, and got 100 subscribers. Like he got to 100 subscribers by hustling that line.
Before anyone was really even lining up, because Arthur was first in line. His dad and his sister were sitting next to us. The CEO of Patreon was just like hanging out, waiting for his wife to get out of the bathroom.
Yep.
And he goes, oh, it's the CEO of Patreon. Be right back. Got up, walked over, introduced himself, and was like, this is my channel, yada, yada, yada. And like, I just wish I had that.
He worked it hard.
Yeah, he did.
He'd been watching YouTube since he was 10.
Yeah. And so he's not 7.
He's 12. His dad.
He was short. He looked 7.
His dad told him to wait 2 years.
Yeah.
And wanted him to learn the platform, see what it was about. And then his dad said that he could create a channel only if he did positive content.
I love
that. He didn't want him going down the path of the pranking and the being mean to people stuff.
The Logan Pauls.
Yeah. He wanted him to be cut from the Casey cloth. And I know this because me and the dad did a lot of talking in the 2.5 hours we waited in line. Mm-hmm. Dad's from Russia.
Yeah.
Came here in the 80s. All right. What we got out of it, though, as far as inspiration goes, definitely want to pass this along to you folks, is that we are all 100% in the driver's seat for the future. Like the future of media and entertainment belongs to Carl and I and everybody who's listening. Congratulations, you're in our club.
Yay!
The future belongs to people that have the drive to do the work and the self-esteem to hold up the camera.
And the patience.
And the patience to edit it, or the idea to create the content. Like if you can think of something that you want to watch, somebody wants to see it. Like this podcast is designed because this is what I wanted to hear when I was Buffalo Mark.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo Mark.
This is what that guy wanted.
Yep.
And guess what? There's a couple thousand people that feel the same way. And so I'm encouraging you right now, instead of chasing around clients, instead of chasing around all these things where you're competing for all the same work, you should really try to get lost in your own thoughts. You should keep a note in your phone or an old analog book at your desk. You should write down your ideas. You should write down your thoughts. When one really, really sticks and you fall in love with it, pitch it to your friends, pitch it to people that you think that would want to watch it. Do some tests. You know, Instagram, I think, is a great platform for testing things. Mm-hmm. Go live. Put it up on IGTV, and if people bite on it, put some production time into it, because I'm telling you right now, the future belongs to us, and it belongs to the networks or the platforms that will let creators monetize.
Yeah.
Casey Neistat, for example, shut down IGTV right out of the gate. It's like, it's interesting, but I don't know who wants to get into making vertical content. Strike one. And it'll be interesting to see what people do with it once it's able to be monetized.
Yeah.
He's not going to touch something that can't make money. Mm-mm. So I think that was one of the big takeaways that I got. And it was reconfirmed to me that you don't have to be a superstar to make a living. Like, you don't have to be one of the cute boys that all the 13-year-old and 10-year-old girls run over to get their pics with to make a living off of new media. You just don't have to. You just have to find an original way to tell your story. Lean into your personality. Find people like you. You can make a living off of it. In fact, I'm doing it right now while I'm speaking.
What's up?
What's up? Shout out to me. But truly, never has there been a better time to be a creative.
Never.
30,000 people going for this gold rush, which is chasing down their dream of making something compelling that they're interested in and doing it as a means to make a living. Like, the whole time you kept saying, 10-year-old Carl, 10-year-old Carl. By the way, you guys at home don't know this. Carl has been vlogging since she was like 10 years old with the family, video camera,
yep.
Literally holding it up, talking to herself.
Yep.
When internet videos weren't a thing, YouTube didn't exist.
Yep.
Like 20 years ago,
yep.
You were holding up a camera and talking into it and documenting your life.
Yeah.
You are a natural for this.
Yeah. It's that. And little Carl lives in me and lives on every single day of my life. And this convention, I did the whole couple days we were there. I kept saying, little Carl would love this. Little Carl would love this. Oh my God, would she love this?
And I thought about my niece, which
I thought about too. Yeah. Everything. I was like, Tegan, oh my God, JoJo Siwa, look, she loves her.
Right. And she's there. I thought about my niece a lot. And I thought about what a great thing that Uncle Mark could give her is to bring her out and bring her to a VidCon when she's like 12 or 13 and just sort of show her, like, if this is something you're passionate about, this is something that you can do. It belongs to you. Like, don't just be a consumer, become a creator.
Yeah.
And the number one moment for me for the whole weekend was early on when one of the speeches, the guy said, raise your hand if you make a living off of your content. And being able to raise my hand and put it in the air and see that not everybody had their hand in the air. I don't know the last time I was so proud of what I've been able to accomplish. And I even said, Casey Neistat's, well, what happened if it all would have went right? Where it went was pretty fucking good. And being able to raise my hand and be like, all right, everybody's here this weekend to try to crack the code on something that I had figured out 4 years ago. That was 100% like one of those like life confirming moments where like, you're not the fuck up that you tell yourself you are.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, I was back to telling myself I'm a fuck up. Because, you got to keep it. You got to be, if you're going to be your own coach, you got to be a tough coach.
Yeah.
You got to play for the coach's love.
Yeah.
But there was a moment in there where I was like, oh, fuck. I get to raise my hand And I'm super stoked to be in this elite crowd of people that get to raise their hand.
You were one of the few. Like, we were sitting in the back during that moment.
So we could see all the hands.
We could see everybody. And, you know, there's like always an awkward feeling when like the person next to you doesn't raise it. And I think we both I didn't even raise my hand because I make a living making someone else's content.
Mm-hmm.
I make a living creating for a network, which I love.
One of the 4 big networks in America?
One of the big ones. But it's still not mine. And
wait a minute, you don't own Fox?
no.
I've been hanging out with the wrong person all this time.
Yeah, no. But
I thought you could give me a cartoon deal.
there was like a moment too where like there was like an energy where like you raised your hand and like mine didn't go up, but I make a living. The person next to me, she probably has a job and she makes enough money to buy herself a ticket to VidCon, but not off of creating.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like this like energy just in our back row of like, holy crap, you make a living off of your content? And then looking around and seeing the sea of how many few people did raise their hands. I think it was a good reminder for you.
For that 1 minute, I was Biggie in the Tesla. People can't see my Tesla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my accomplishment is like invisible.
Yeah.
And for that moment, I got to be like, no, I got this. And it felt really, really great. To wrap up this Circle of Trust content, and I know it's not the longest COT that we've ever done, but
he's going to pick up his wife from the airport, and I haven't had McDonald's yet today.
Yeah,
so we're
shot.
We're shot.
We're hungry here.
Yeah.
But I really wanted just for you guys to sort of break down who it's perfect for, who I would advise to spend the money on it, and really like the emotional takeaways. And I got one last thing that I wanted to do. Carl.
Yo.
Me and my buddy Sean.
Yeah.
Ironically,
yeah.
we started the Monday show all about media, pop culture. Comment below.
Great title.
Thank you. Very proud of that one. As we started comment below to really talk about all of the TV that we love watching, Sean and I have both fallen in love with YouTube. And so YouTube has become more part of the conversation on comment below. And the thing I always wanted to do is I wanted the first hour of the show to be like Entertainment Weekly. I wanted the first hour to be like, hey, here's what's happening, what you could watch. But I wanted the second half to be like Variety Magazine, where it's more industry specific, because I wanted to look at all the media that exists, but then try to inspire the audience to make their own media, because it's fun to watch TV at the end of a long day. But I feel like when you spend that hour decompressing, somewhere in that hour you should be trying to figure out how it helps you as a creator, or as a creative. The point of this rant is that I feel like we're going to be covering new media a lot more, because that's where our interest is going. And I've sworn an allegiance to this audience. I think I could talk a little bit less about network and Netflix, a little bit less about blockbuster movies, and a little bit more about how we can all empower ourselves and really stand out as individuals.
Yeah.
My proposal to you is this.
Oh boy.
I would like to have you be a semi-regular or regular part of comment below when you can fit it in.
Yeah.
I would like for you to be the AID YouTube reporter.
What?
I would like for you to cover YouTube for us.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
We've been trying to figure out a way to work together for a long time.
Yeah, I keep saying I want to be on Hammer Time. If you guys adjust some of the things that you talk about.
If we could make a Fox-friendly episode.
Okay, for everyone, does everyone pretty much listen to everything? Like, or do they all have different things that they like to listen to?
There's probably some people there's definitely people that just don't like Hammer Time.
So there's comment below listeners who will not listen to Hammer Time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, not everybody's... There's some people that only listen to the interviews.
Okay.
They're just...
They vary.
But I take no... It doesn't bother me.
Of course.
Because I'm trying to make as much stuff for as many people as possible.
Of course.
But there are people that it's Monday through Friday locked in that like all of it.
Good. Okay. Well, I love Hammer Time. I'm a big Hammer Time fan.
Got the tish?
I got the tish. Consider myself a big portion of the Hammer himself's life.
Yep.
So
you're a reoccurring character.
He built this office I'm sitting in.
Yeah.
So, so it's something I've been dying to be a part of AID in some fashion. I would be honored to be able to speak about something that I'm extremely passionate about.
Hey friends, we have now put Brickey's Guide to Breaking into Hollywood to an end. 10 mini episodes, all pulled from full episodes over in the AID archive. Sign up today at AIDpodcast.com to become a member of the Circle of Trust and to keep AID rolling and growing. Growing is the word that I'm looking for. Woo! I'm tired. All this breaking and entering into the entertainment industry has got me worn out. Did you listen to any of these? Did you like it? Is this something you'd like for me to do again? I really like combing through the archives and putting episodes together in a well-curated format so you can just dive in and focus in on one big topic. If you were to become a member of the Circle of Trust, all 10 of these episodes would equal about 18 hours of listening. So there's a lot of data to pull from. I hope you enjoyed it. AID Podcast returns. Go find us on iTunes. Follow us along here on YouTube. And thank you so much for listening. And right here at the end of today's episode, what I did, and one of the reasons why I pulled this is I took the show itself and turned it into content. And that's exactly what you need to be if you're a content creator, if you want to tell stories. Like, every bit of your life is part of your story. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. I hope you enjoyed these episodes, and I hope you go listen to the podcast.